This week on the Conspiracy Outpost, we are talking about the legendary ghost ship known as the Flying Dutchman, doomed to sail the seven seas forever, unable to make port again. Join us as we discuss this myth, and we may just find some truth in it. I'm your host, Casey.
I'm Mike.
I'm JPEG Joe.
Matt.
And I'm Wesley.
So, about your intro, there's actually some stories that say he can go on land every 7 years.
Yeah, well, yeah.
As long as he has a jar of dirt.
Yes, the jar.
We were talking about that before you guys jumped on.
You guys talk about the jar of dirt, which is his way, fucking Jack Sparrow's way of staying on land. But you don't talk about the fact that when it cuts to fucking Davy Jones, there's a string of buckets with seawater in them going along the shore so he could do the meeting.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I seen it when it came out. I was like, that's kind of dope.
Yeah. So his crew's out there fucking putting buckets out there while he walks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like. It's fucking great. He's just standing in buckets of water.
Are we going to discuss why he can't tie his shoes because he wears a little ghost or his little sock on his ghostly tail? That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Talking about
The Flying Dutchman. Arr.
You know what?
I'll give you two golden coins.
Y'all are the lying Dutchman because Nate is not here.
So I have a question before we get into facts and stuff. Was he actually Dutch?
I believe so because the ship is it's a Dutch ship.
Is that where Dutch ovens come from? Did he like make his crew sniff his farts in a sheet?
I hope I'm saying this right. It was a flit, which is a Dutch cargo ship. It kind of looks like when I looked at it, the picture of it kind of looked like an elongated like schooner, kind of.
Elongated. How elongated was it?
You wouldn't understand that, Matthew. Just don't worry about it.
It's a schooner, you dumb bastards. It's not a schooner. It's a sailboat. Sorry.
Matthew doesn't know what elongated is. No.
I know what elongated is, but how many inches is it elongated?
Is it 4, 6, 8?
I'm fine with 8.
Say as far as like inches go, a couple thousand.
For me.
Yeah. So he was. So it was Dutch or not? Or
yeah, the ship is definitely Dutch, and some of the stories that go more into detail. It is a Dutchman that was sailing around the southern coast of Africa, around one of the capes. I think it's called Hope Cape.
Did he do it twice? Is that what
the Cape of Good Hope? Yeah.
Did he do it twice? Is that what a double Dutch is?
Damn. He jumped up for sure.
Nah, he barely made it through the first time. Like in this story, at least, he was trying to go through a storm, barely making it around this fucking Cape of Good Hope, which maybe like the Good Hope is a misnomer, or it could be perfect because maybe you need a lot of hope to get past it. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
but he was like, I'm gonna get around this fucking Cape no matter what it takes, even if it takes, all the days left in the world or whatever until Judgment Day. And then the fucking devil was just like, bet, motherfucker, you will sail the rest of your days.
Okay, so now is this the Dutch devil? Or like the regular?
No,
devil?
Actually, it's the Canadian devil because he's like
he was super nice. Like, I'll let you live, but you just gotta sail eternity.
Yeah.
To continue with this this specific story that goes into some detail, but like I said, there's a lot of different stories that vary in the details. But this specific one that I read, which I'm going to paraphrase it because it is somewhat long.
Steak is my favorite, but yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much, devil is like, bet you're going to sail the rest of your days, or until you pretty much find true love. Classic fucking Disney scenario.
Not rom-com, rom-drum.
He found some good pussy actually, and they called him the Flying Munch Man after that.
But anyways, he has to find true love, and this love has to be undying, is what it says. And So he's sailing the seas, able to go to shore every 7 years to try to find this love. But during that 7 years, he's not allowed to go. So he's like really, his dating pool's really fucking low on the ocean, I bet. So every 7 years is the only time he has a chance.
He's banging the seamen.
Well, I think he had a lot of pussy from Keira Knightley. That definitely happened.
Well, anyways, it is said that one day during a storm, a ship captain made port, got home, but then the Flying Dutchman showed up, and it happened to be on this 7-year thing. And the Dutchman made a deal with this captain to give him a ship or something, or cargo, something, in turn for meeting the captain's daughter. And then the Dutchman and the daughter fall in love, and the daughter, to break the curse, says that her love isn't dying and it'll last until the end of her days, and throws herself off a cliff to her death, breaking the curse because she loved him until the day she died.
So he could be freed.
She fucking lawyered that shit.
Yeah, she was like, Genie, you're free. And then the Dutchman was like,
what if Aladdin jumped off that balcony?
And then the Dutch, and she was like, Genie, you're free. And the Dutchman was like, real quick, love, can you just smell underneath this blanket?
Dude, I don't like that.
Underneath this blanket, real quick.
I don't like that story. I don't like the fact that he got all lovey-dovey. I don't like the flying mush, man. I like that.
I kind of like that ending because it seems like a Greek tragedy. You know?
Most Greek tragedies end with Zeus fucking like a weird animal or something. That's a real tragedy. Or him turned into an animal fucking a human. That's a real Greek tragedy.
That sounds more like Loki. I think Zeus just fucked everything. I don't know if he changed himself to fuck things. He just did it.
Anyways, back to it.
So, from what I read, a lot of the story of the Flying Dutchman generally comes out of the 18th century. It's not really nailed down as to when.
So, like 1760s.
Something like that.
Yeah, I saw the earliest like mention of it was back in, I think it was the 16.
But it is generally thought to have originated during the height of the Dutch East India Trading Company.
17.
I thought it was the East Indian Trading Company.
Yeah,
that's
17th century. I got actually a story about the Dutch East Indian.
Yeah, because fucking what's his name? Fucking Blackbeard. The fucking American people. This is way later. Or somebody, they hired a fucking pirate when somebody almost colonized America. I think, who was that landed in like the Gulf of Mexico and discovered Atlanta, Georgia? They hired a pirate to fucking steal from their own French vessels, I think, or. I don't know.
Are you talking about Sir Francis Drake?
Was it Captain Kidd?
Yeah. I know.
No, he was too young. He was a kid.
K-I-D-D.
Okay.
But I just
where do you think you landing, kid?
I just whoever owned Southern America at the time hired this pirate. I don't know, Blackbeard, Redbeard, Whitebeard, whoever he was.
Gray beard, gray pubes, red pubes. Black pubes with some dynamite in your pubes.
They hired him to be like, hey, we know we shouldn't be doing this, but we're going to give you some money aside. If you could just get rid of these guys for us, that'd be dope. I think it was Spanish people, like Spain.
We don't want to discover America until the time's precisely right.
Spain did a lot.
Right.
We don't want to discover it right now. We want to wait until someone named Columbus pretends to discover it before we get there.
It's like, this is India. Hey, this is America. This is America.
So the earliest reports of the Flying Dutchman, they're varied and they're not really specific. They just talk about a Dutch sailing vessel that would show up like during storms or after storms, and it was thought to be a bad omen. And then later on, it was thought that it had a ghostly glow. Like it was a ghost ship. Like that's like it. Like if I saw a fucking glowing ship, I'd freak the fuck out.
That'd be pretty scary.
And they I don't know if it they have one on the coast of Ireland that they say they keep seeing. I don't know if that's the same thing.
Yeah,
or
it's
not,
called Nessie. We already know about that one.
Yeah. I thought Nessie was in Loch Ness in Scotland.
It is.
What is that?
Yeah, we already know everything about her. We collected all of her data in the Cryptodex.
I was just hoping nobody was gonna.
I think I've heard of that
that
Irish thing. There's an Irish ship.
Yeah, there's an Irish ship that
it's named after an old Irish like pagan god type thing.
Oh, then it's got to be like Gallagher or Gallahan or something weird like that.
And he stops by and he lands on shore and he smashes watermelons.
So the Flying Dutchman story that I read was the Flying Dutchman was actually part of the Dutch East India Company, and it was sailing between the Netherlands and the East Indies, carrying silks, spices, dyes, and other exotic, not erotic.
Hey,
maybe
they might be,
stuff, items to Asia and Europe. And when it was the ship
you
was
ever
caught
fucked
in
on
a storm
silk sheets? Pretty erotic.
returning to Amsterdam, and accounts vary about the name of the skipper of the Flying Dutchman, but according to some, the captain was Hendrik van der Decken.
Hendrik van der Decken.
Hey, they like the Dutch to go Van der Decken.
Van der Decken.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Dude, do it.
Van der
Decken.
But
he is a skipper Van der Decken.
Continue.
Anywho, so he was approaching the storm on the Cape, and which obviously that's what led to the ship being destroyed. But when he was heading into the storm, his crew wanted to turn back because obviously the dangers of capsizing and whatnot. But he ordered his crew to go ahead, and he said he would sail until doomsday. And according to mythology, this angered the gods, and they punished his soul by trapping him to the ship for eternity, and never allowed to come to land. Oh, it does say to search for his true love.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So
some straight up like Disney shit, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that one was a pretty cool one. Pissed the gods off by saying he was going to do it. And, oh, you think the storm's going to stop me? Fuck you, gods!
Dude, that's
I will be immortal.
The Flying Dutchman was out there. The Flying Dutchman was out there swinging his dick around that flying slut, man.
Where they call it flying?
The interesting thing I see about like a lot of the reports and sightings and stuff like that is they're all after really bad storms. Like the really bad storms. Like I assume that a lot of these people got out of that thinking they probably died.
Well, some of the accounts that they'll see the ship before a storm happens.
Yeah,
maybe
that's a bad omen.
Interdimensional portals happening, and it ruptures the weather and the seas, and this motherfucker comes out and it's like, "Sub G, you might die," and then pops in, pops out.
And they just blame it all on Dutchman every time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Deutsch. That's Deutsch.
No, he
that's the
pops
Dutch
in.
if I've ever seen it.
He pops in. Dave Leende Hollander or something like that. He pops in his ghost ship and he's like, "Hey," it's like, "What's up?" Smell underneath his blanket real quick.
Matthew, use your better Dutch voice when you do that.
I don't know how to do Dutch.
There's an early literary reference to the Flying Dutchman that's in A Voyage to Botany Bay. And
no, not that. I was gonna say, hey Mike, while you're doing your thing, I just want to say on my thing. I guess the story that I was saying, I skipped ahead because I was just skimming through. I guess the devil gave him a way out, and then that's why if he was able to find his true love, then he would be broken from the curse of the Flying Dutchman.
Damn, that's crazy. What the fuck? Wasn't that the intro?
No. Because we said the devil. We talked about the devil, but I didn't know the devil came after he was already cursed, and then said, "Oh yeah, I can get you out of this, but you got to find your true love."
Casey, let's get it straight. The devils have always came since the fucking dawn of ages. He was coming on this, coming on that.
Okay, so
go ahead, Mike.
This literally literary reference appears in chapter 6 of A Voyage in Botany Bay, also known as A Voyage in New South Wales, and it's attributed to George Barrington. And the paragraph starts as this. It says, I had often heard the superstition of sailors respecting apparitions and doom. I had never given much credit to the report. It seems that some years since, a Dutch man of war was lost at the Cape of Good Hope, and every soul on board perished. Her consort weathered the gale and arrived soon after at the Cape. Having refitted and returned to Europe, they were assailed by a violent tempest nearly in the same latitude. In the night watch, some of the people saw or imagined they saw a vessel standing for them under a press of sail, and though she would run them down. One in particular affirmed it was the ship that had foundered in the former gale, and that it must certainly be her, or the apparition of her. But on its clearing up the object, a dark, thick cloud disappeared. Nothing could do away the idea of this phenomena on the minds of the sailors, and on their relating of the circumstances when they arrived in port. The story spread like wildfire, and the supposed phantom was called the Flying Dutchman. From the Dutch, the English seamen got... I'm a fucking child. From the Dutch, the English seamen got infatuation, and
what does that taste like?
And there are very few Indian men, but what has someone on board who pretends to have seen the apparition? So they talk. Okay, so
a tempest is a windy, violent storm, or like a violent wind.
What happened was this pair of ships is going around the Good Hope Cape at South Africa, and one of the ships, being a man of war, a huge fucking vessel, went down in the storm. And then later on, as they're heading back up to England, they see pretty much this ship come out of the fog coming at them, and then it just fucking disappeared and like turned into a cloud, just gone.
Yep, I think that might be the one I'm talking about that Irish people have seen in Ireland. Maybe that's the same thing. Is that
well? This is pretty far south. This is still off the coast of Africa, I think.
Right, but you said it popped up in England.
Or, they were on their way home to England from South Africa, so they were off the coast of Africa somewhere.
Oh, okay. So West Africa, yeah.
There's another literary reference that introduces the motif of punishment, and it comes from the Scenes of Infancy that was made in 1803 by John Leyden, and it says it is a common superstition of mariners that in the high southern latitudes of the coast of Africa, hurricanes are frequently ushered in by the appearance of a specter ship denominated as the Flying Dutchman. The crew of this vessel are supposed to have been guilty of some dreadful crime in the infancy of navigation, and have been stricken with pestilence, and are ordained to still traverse the ocean on which they perish till the period of their penance expired. So this one speaks of kind of like how it is in
Davy Jones' Locker.
Yeah, the pestilence. They're sick. They're charged with a sickness.
Yeah, but I experienced that shit in high school, and I met Davy Jones in the locker.
Nerd.
And I believe the pestilence they were talking about was Dave got you in the locker doesn't mean
you like seafood, and then he opened his mouth up while he's chewing and fucking threw you in the locker.
I believe the pestilence they were talking about was syphilis.
Dude, it could have been. Or
scurvy. It was real big back then.
Or scurvy. It was
pretty sweet.
Scurvy and syphilis. But you were only cool if you had syphilis, because that means you got some. Scurvy doesn't mean you were doing some weird shit.
You didn't get it by being a fucking nerd. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'll tell you that.
Both of them got you when you were caught slipping.
Scurvy was lack of, what is it, vitamin C or vitamin
C? So that's what I'm saying. I think that's a conspiracy in itself, because like that's weird that all these pineapples and citrus fruit grow in a tropical island. That's what it is. I can never get what the fuck?
It's like what you got? You got scurvy? Hell no, bro. I've been fucking and I've been drinking orange juice afterwards. Unfortunately, I wasn't drinking orange juice with a condom on because I got syphilis.
I got syphilis, man.
I got the siffy. Shit, they call this the flying siffy.
Mike just got telling us about John Leyden. I actually have a story of Sir Walter Scott. He was a friend of John Leyden, and he was the first person to refer to the ship as a pirate vessel in a poem called
What year? What year are we at?
It was this was published in he lived 1771 to 1832, and this was published in 1812. And he said originally a vessel loaded with great wealth, on a board of which a horrid act of murder and piracy had been committed. The apparition of the ship is considered by mariners as the worst of possible omens.
I wonder if this guy wrote this in tribute to his friend, because his friend died in 1811.
Maybe.
Oh,
but
damn.
He was just the first person known. He was the first one to say that the ship was a pirate ship instead of just,
a Dutch ship.
Just instead of a ship, yeah. Next reference was from Thomas More. He placed the Flying Dutchman in the North Atlantic in a poem that he wrote on passing Dead Man's Island in the Gulf of St. Lawrence in the late evening of September 1804.
Hold on, I don't know where the fuck St. Lawrence Lake is.
It's next to Muppet Island. Dead Man's Island's next. It's neighboring Muppet Island.
It said Dead Man's Island in the Gulf of St. I guess I don't know where that's at. Somewhere in the North Atlantic.
It's neighboring. I can tell you relative location. It's neighboring Muppet Island. Right Treasure Island. Treasure Island. The same one.
I can tell you that the St. Lawrence was next to a lot of places where fish got burned. Lawrence fish burned.
That's possibly. That Nova Scotia.
Continue.
Hold on. I'm trying to see where the Gulf of St. Lawrence is.
I need a point of reference where the fuck you just can't give me the Lake Erie. Well, I know where that is, but
it's the Gulf of St. Lawrence is bounded on the north by Labrador Peninsula and Quebec, to the east St. Pierre and Newfoundland.
Is that Quebec?
And to the south Nova Scotia.
Fucking idiot. Oh, so it's North Canal? It's the north of the pond?
I said I said North Atlantic.
It's Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, up over here.
I told you Muppet Treasure Island was just neighboring that area.
How many buddies and guys do they have out there?
These guys.
I mean, I told you it was the Canadian devil. You guys didn't believe me.
True.
Right.
So the poem said, fast gliding along a gloomy bark, her sails are full, though the wind is still, and there blows not a breath of her sails to fill. A footnote adds, the above lines were suggested by a superstition very common among sailors who called this the ghost ship, the Flying Dutchman.
So, do you know what? So who's this poem by, or this?
The poem was by Thomas More.
And
he lived from 1779 to 1852, and he wrote this in 1804.
Right? Oh, 04. I'm all fucked up. Okay. So he believed in it, correct?
Well, he wrote about it. He just wrote a poem about it. Whether or not
we don't know if that's canon or not. Yeah. Oh, this guy just kind of daydreamed.
I don't think most people believed about this. It was just a superstition among sailors.
Right. Yeah.
Like some sailors probably believed, but these poets and stuff, I don't know.
I don't believe Moby's dick's that big.
Who's Moby?
Who's
That's
Moby?
why there's no women. There was no women on the boat because, for the most part, because men were afraid, like,
Moby's, and they all had syphilis.
Is he bigger than me?
They're gonna see bigger than mine, so it's like I slay this motherfucker before he pops out of the water. So, is this the last reference of somebody referring to the Dutchman?
No, there's been reported sightings, even by some like pretty reputable people, like kings and shit.
Of what age or century? I don't. All right, I don't
1800s.
And that was like, is that the last recorded, or well, I mean, you're gonna have skeptics.
No, that's just like, okay. So there's a very well known one by Prince George of Wales. He became King George V, and he saw one in the 1880s when he was an adolescent with his older brother, Prince Albert Victor of Wales.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and he saw it in the like early morning hours on July 11th, 1881, off the coast of Australia. But it's like that's a leader of a country, you know. It's somewhat reputable, I guess. I think he wrote July 11th at 4 a.m. the Flying Dutchman crossed our bows, a strange red light as of a phantom ship, all aglow, in the midst of which the light mass spars and sails, a brig 200 yards distant stood out in strong relief as she came up on the port bow, where also the officer of the watch from the bridge clearly saw her, as did the quarterdeck midshipman, who was sent forward at once to the forecastle. But on arriving, there was no vestige or any sign whatever of any material ship. There was no sign that the ship was there. That was a weird way they fucking worded it, and I'm not. That's a tongue twister. I'm not fucking saying it like that.
Right, like it didn't.
They saw it on the horizon. And the night being clear and calm, 13 people saw her altogether. At 10:45, the ordinary seaman who had the morning reported the Flying Dutchman fell from the foretop mast cross trees onto the top gallant forecastle and was smashed to atoms. I don't fucking know. That's weird.
It's smashed to pieces.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is how they said that one line though. It says, where was that at? Any sign whatsoever of any material ship was to be seen either near or right away to the horizon.
Dude, didn't the next line go somewhere out on the horizon?
Warriors. The Warriors.
So yeah, that's like one of the most well documented sighting. That's the best documented sighting because of who saw it and because there's like other people saw it. But like there's been sightings that have not been documented, as you can imagine, just coming into port, just like you'll never guess what the fuck we saw, you know, which is why this tale has stayed alive through the generations. It's just
Hey guys, I know I'm just a bum on the island of fucking England or whatever. As the bottle came up and I smoked this rock, and then I seen this fucking boat come out of the fucking fog. It was crazy shit. So that was the latest.
There were sites that people said that the ship was flying, which is why it could be called the Flying Dutchman.
Oh, is that why they call it Flying Dutchman? Because I've always wondered about that. Is why it's called Flying Dutchman.
Well, I mean, it just says
there's an account that there's the Flying Dutchman was a ship inside it. It was already named that when it was for the East India.
I assume before it was a ghostly ship, before it went down, it was called the Flying Dutchman because it was a fast Dutch ship. That's what I assumed. Right. It was just flying. I mean, it was a very large ship. It was a very large cargo ship, and I imagine when it was empty, that motherfucker flew.
Yeah, right. They probably has that motherfucker like
probably has massive sails just to be able to carry the load.
Yeah, I know about carrying loads.
Pretty big load.
It's a heavy task to handle.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so so what is like concurrent right now? What is the conspiracy at this current time?
I mean, it kind of stayed the same.
So that was the last.
Does he exist?
Well, no, there's reports. It's just these are the ones that are documented because
these are the most well-known ones.
Certified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably more sightings back in the day just because there's more sailboats. You know, more ships that look the same. They could have just seen a ship after a storm that fucking was going away from them or something like that. They passed them, and then just got lost in the fog or some shit. For all we know, I don't know, but. I assume it's different now because there's not a lot of fucking sailboats. No one's gonna say, "Oh, it's the Flying Dutchman." It's like it says Disney Cruise Lines. Like,
Disney Cruise Lines. We're trying to bring you the most ghostly experience and any other kind of experience out there. You like the Flying Dutchman? Come aboard a ride. Smell under our blankets. So you can say.
I assume what is largely attributed to be the Flying Dutchman is ships coming out of bad storms and being really fucked up. Like it seems like they probably shouldn't be floating, but they are.
Bad storm? Tempest. Tempest is bad storms. Coming out of a tempest.
Well, there have been alleged sightings all the way from obviously, it started in the 16th century. I saw in my notes was the first things, but first talks about it, I guess. But it's happened all the way up into the 19th and 20th century as well. But I don't have any personal accounts from those because I didn't look up those. I was just getting the more well-known ones out there. But
right, so
if you did a search, you could probably find some shit.
Yeah, well, I'm asking you, motherfucker. Is there any accounts of major accounts of in like the 20th century? Is there any major accounts in the 20th century?
Not that I looked up.
I mean, that one by that king was in 1880. That's almost there.
Yeah, that was almost there. Yeah, that's about.
I mean, that's the same time as the fucking Wild West,
right?
I mean, that's the same time that I assume they start making steamships. Like, there's steamships then.
Yeah. The Cleveland Steamers.
Little steamboat with the.
Yeah.
So it's definitely in that realm of.
Yeah. Possibility.
Did we talk about Captain Bernard?
No, we didn't. Did we, Mike?
No, I don't think so.
Nope. Yeah, I didn't hear Menard.
Let's talk about Captain Bernard.
Bernard.
With
a B. Bernard.
Cumberbatch.
Did you read anything about him, Mike?
I don't remember.
Oh, Captain.
Why don't you spit it to us?
So Captain Bernard, he's the guy that is he's the guy who's supposed to be the captain of the Flying Dutchman. He was I guess he was renowned for his speeds on his trips to the Neverland.
Prior to being ethereal or
prior to being cursed.
Okay.
He was he was super fast on his trips between the Netherlands and Java, and he was suspected of being in league with the devil. And then the first legend of the story was printed in Blackwood's magazine in May 1821, which puts the scene of the Cape of Good Hope and introduces Captain Van der Decken for the captain, blah, 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 blah. We talked about that stuff. But yeah, Captain Bernard is supposed to be the man who's supposed to be behind the, I don't know what you call it, ship wheel. Is that what
the captain?
Is that
he was steering?
No, does the steering wheel have a certain name, or is it just a steering wheel?
The wheel.
Yes. And there was a steering column, and then there was an engine block.
Yeah, some motherfuckers on the bottom fucking pedaling, or rowing. I mean, not pedaling.
Might be a pedal boat.
Yeah, maybe.
Pedal
boat, or the pedal boats suck. They're so slow.
Not if you're going through a love tunnel.
Not when you're escaping the Titanic.
Dude, if he was the one that was at the helm, that's so dope. All the Caribbeans were getting in his Dutch drawers.
I told you, motherfucker. There's a reason I know these things, but we'll get into that later.
Boats.
Wesley is actually an expert on boats and Dutch men. He's had both in his pants.
Yes.
I don't know how the boat part would work. Don't listen to me. I mean,
he put a toy boat up.
I'm drunk.
Shut up. Yeah, they do a lot of RC boat racing in the Netherlands. No,
he's had someone motorboat his ass cheeks.
It gets pretty crazy. It gets pretty crazy. They try to throw icebergs in the pond.
That same guy, Captain Bernard, was said to be
dude, his name is Captain Picard, and he was on the Starfleet, dog.
But he said he was traveling through the North Sea, forever traveling through the North Sea, playing dice for his soul with the devil.
So he only traveled.
He was up there around Britain, right? Around the British Isles.
Yeah,
the North Sea goes across from like Greenland and shit.
Yeah, so it's up there.
Wait, so he was playing dice with the devil? Is that what you said?
Yeah, for his soul.
He's like, Chevin.
Hey, snake eyes.
He should have loaded, man.
What's the devil doing playing craps?
When I leave, come together like butt cheeks.
No, what happened? He played
shooting dice at the corner of the ship.
Devil's like, we don't got no slot machines down here.
We only got craps.
Yeah, craps.
You can end up in it, or you can play it.
Did we talk about how the crew of the ship try to, like, if they see another, like the people on the Flying Dutchman, if they see another ship, they'll like try to hail the people on the ship and try to send messages so they can get them to shore to people they know and stuff.
I did not hear that, but now I just heard it.
Now we're welcome.
Hey, now I'm welcome.
Welcome to the crew. We love to have you along. It's very awesome. Love it. Don't smell the sails. They used to be blankets. Welcome to the Dutch Oven crew.
That's the original Dutch Oven. Just be friendly till you get right next to him. Be like, oh, it's not sprechen die Deutsch. And then just fire your fucking cannons at him. She's like, oh, Dutch people, they make great shit, you know.
Dutch make great shit.
This ShamWow commercial.
Oh man.
Anyway, all right. So let's circle back. What is like, so we got the most recent account. So, and there hasn't been any other one since 1880, I believe, or 1860.
No, there have been accounts in the 19th and 20th century. We just didn't look up any of those. So I'm sure if you did a search, you guys can find an account if you want to speak on more recent ones. We were just doing notable ones that are well known.
Okay.
I was just talking about how the Captain Bernard was playing dice with the devil for his soul.
Yeah.
While he was trapped.
Yeah, I think that's really cool that is actually a thing, because when I look back on one of my favorite things that has Davy Jones and the Flying Dutchman in it, being Pirates of the Caribbean, they have all the references to all of these poems, literature, and all this shit in this one fucking movie. I mean, Davy Jones, he has a love, even though they changed it with Calypso. And then on his ship, people are betting years playing liar's dice.
Mm-hmm.
They have the only going to land 7 years. They have the Flying Dutchman, being ghostly and like sickly. Like they have a sickness, they're cursed. There's just all these references to all these different things in this movie that I really like. And I think, honestly, I think I probably could have just watched fucking Pirates of the Caribbean and called it good with how much I'm noticing in all this literature. And all this other stuff and all these references. The people who made the movie did a lot of research, it seems like, which I never would have guessed. I just figured they're just like Davy Jones' Locker, Flying Dutchman, let's call it good. And then no, there's so much to it, which is impressive. And then I don't know, bringing other sea gods in like Calypso and stuff is very fucking cool. And it adds some depth to the story, especially when you think about that one story I told at the beginning, where it talks about the woman who threw herself off the cliffs to set him free, which is kind of one-dimensional, but it is a cool like Greek tragedy ending. But having Calypso being the sea goddess who cursed him, and also his love, that he can't be around it, I thought that was a really cool way to do it. I'm just seeing all the aspects of different stories melded in such a cool fucking way. I I think my favorite story that I heard about the Flying Dutchman was the one I read at the beginning, which is why I read it. I read a couple and I latched onto that one because that one it is kind of poetic, you know. It'd be even more poetic if they wrote it to where the very fucking seas where his ship went down and he made the deal with the devil was the fucking seas that she threw herself into and set him free. That'd be kind of cool, but I don't know.
My favorite, like, from like the poems of the Dutchman was sail the seven seas, that's where you'll find me. No touch of land, not for this man. You'll find me beneath the waters with the plankton. Please don't smell underneath this blanket.
You just come up with that off the top of your head because it's pretty decent.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I like looking up, and I know we didn't have much time looking it up. It was kind of a last minute switch.
I was researching for an hour before I hopped on. Well, like half an hour before I started talking to you, I was researching. Like I was just reading, like I'd read all the Wikipedia stuff. I went to multiple different websites and was just reading, like skimming, really, not like full reading. That would have taken me all day with how many websites I visited. I just wanted to get other people's outlooks on it, because it's all pretty much somewhat the same story. There's just differences.
Yeah, small little twerks and tweaks and shit.
Tweaks.
I like how much the Dutchman is incorporated into history, like as in paintings, and then we have them in like TV shows and movies and fucking books and poems, and it's all throughout all pop culture, and
so
it's crazy to think, because even if the ship's not real, there's been multiple accounts from multiple people from all over the
even
seas,
a fucking king, even a king.
Yeah. So there has to be some truth to the legend, I would say. I don't know if there's actually.
I'd say more likely it probably goes to the fact that, one, this was a giant ship. It was in one thing it was a man of war, which is a fucking massive ship, and another it was a just large fucking Dutch cargo ship. But no matter what, it is a large ship, and when they finally start talking about it as a pirate ship, it would make sense that this large ship would come out of storms somewhat just fine, and then like possibly fucking ransack damaged ships. You know what I mean? And then sailors would survive and be like, or get picked up somehow, or see a sister ship that was in their fleet go down, and they talk about this ghostly ship that just came out of the fog, lit the motherfucker up, and then, you know, this ship's sailing away because they're not getting fucking out of it. And so it's like, this thing just came out of the storm and fucking took everything out. No way they could have survived that storm. Must be a ghost ship. You know, that's the way I look at it. Because that's what makes sense if you think about it from a logical perspective. And plus, when you're out at sea, if you're stuck in an ocean, you're losing your bearings, you're freaking the fuck out, I assume. You don't know which way is fucking up, down, north, west, south. I don't fucking know. You just lost. There's your fucking ship's going fucking sideways in the wake. Fucking there's wind like crazy. And then you get to the eye of the storm, you get out of that, you're fucking shell shocked because you probably could have died. And you possibly see another ship right there. You know,
what about the accounts of the people who see the ship first and then the storm?
See, that also is like, say you see a ship off in the distance, is like, what the fuck? Why is this ship there? Or if it say this ship, because storms do move. Say this ship had just gotten out of the storm and was kind of beat up. Looked like it should have been fucking at the bottom of the ocean because how fucked up it was, because it just came out of the storm. It was running away from the storm, and these people are sailing into the storm. You see what I mean? It's like, you ever like, yes, ships don't move as fast as cars, but you've driven, I assume, through a storm to where you see the storm in the distance, you drive through and you exit the storm. You see it
times.
Yeah, on the horizon. If you see one car coming from that storm that is covered in fucking like say it's a snowstorm or something. You see this car coming out of that storm's covered in snow. You're like, oh damn, there's snow up ahead. But on the ocean in these violent storms, you see this fucking thing coming out. Its sails are fucking torn up. Mast might be broken. It's just fucked up. You go, what the hell? Fucking ghost ship. And then you go into that storm. You know what I mean? I feel it's the same way as seeing a fucking car coming out of an area where there's a storm and seeing snow on it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like that's
I'm just saying though, if I'm ever on a boat in the ocean and I see a storm approaching and I see a ship, whether it's coming out from being fucked up from that storm or not, I'm gonna be like, Flying Dutchman got us.
It's like I'm not that religious, but please save me, Jesus.
Fuck Jesus.
Save me, baby Jesus.
Hands now.
Save me, Tom Cruise. Save me, Jewish God.
I did have another little quick thing. Actually, that just reminded me when you said the Jewish God thing.
It's like
has nothing to do with the Jewish God.
Jesus, take the helm.
Jewish people. Well, they say that the Jews are the ones who are in control of the Dutchmen. No, I'm just kidding. No, this
I wouldn't doubt it. Like everybody blames the Jews for so many things.
Jews did it.
Can't find someone who did it. Just blame the Jews. No,
before there was thanks Obama, there was thanks Jews.
There was Nicholas Monstrat, maybe. He was a novelist who wrote The Cruel Sea, and he described the phenomenon in the Pacific Ocean in his unfinished book called The Master Mariner. And it was partly inspired by this tale and story of the Wandering Jew.
What?
Yes.
What the fuck is the Wandering Jew?
I don't know, but I just thought I'd throw that in there.
So a thought came across my head. So there is the theory. There's the sightings of the Flying Dutchman across the Northern Sea, like far up north. What if they thought it was a ghostly apparition because they saw them against the horizon with the Northern Lights?
Ooh, that'd be dope.
And they're like, the fuck? You know, it's glowing. Say it has white sails.
Because the sightings are so sparse, and you know how the aurora lights they're not always just popping off.
Sparse.
Yeah, but like there is ways to discount the sightings, which is what I'm doing right now. But I believe it could be a thing because I believe in ghosts. And why the fuck wouldn't there be a ghost ship? But yeah, but. Like, where did the thing come from with Davy Jones? Because I didn't see references to Davy Jones there. And in SpongeBob, Davy Jones... Or no, he's just called the Dutchman. Davy Jones just has the locker in SpongeBob. Davy Jones is the ruler of the Dutchman in Pirates. But Pirates is mixing tons of different mythologies anyways. So, what the fuck is Davy Jones from? I didn't look that up. Probably should.
Yeah, I never looked up old Davy Jones. I think I guess Davy Jones is just a metaphor for the oceanic abyss, the final resting place for drowned sailors and travelers. It's a euphemism for drowning or shipwrecks.
Damn it, dude! I had so many like zingers in there, but my phone died.
So Davy Jones' locker really just means like the unknown abyss of the sea. That's all it is.
Basically the resting place of the ocean.
Okay, so I see. So Davy Jones being the supposed captain of the Flying Dutchman would make sense because the Flying Dutchman is seen as a curse. When you see the Flying Dutchman, you're going down. You know, you're going to Davy Jones' locker.
The earliest reference to Davy Jones' locker was published in 1726, and some of Lowe's company said they would look out some things and give me along with me when I was going away, but Ruffle told them they should not, for he would toss them all into Davy Jones' locker if they did. Man, that was some weird writing. That was hard. I was tripping.
I thought the Flying Dutchman is when they throw like the person does a Dutch oven and they throw the blanket on your face.
You think anybody ever called him? You think when they were mad they called it David Jones Locker? Like when a parent.
I'm fucking. Oh, you're gonna say me to Davy Jones Locker, huh? Davy Jones. It's Davy
Jones.
So, dude, imagine seeing a ghostly type ship in a dead calm, early morning or nighttime water, fog rolling in, the dead calm of sea just before a storm. That would seem eerie as fuck. There's no sound. There might be just the creaking of ropes and stuff because early morning and night, you're just the only one on the fucking deck. You see this ghostly ship go by.
Well, they say. Yeah. Did we talk about the ship like rolling up on shore and shit? Like not like coming.
We
up
have not, but I want to get to that because I haven't heard about that. But imagine that you're the only person on deck. Everybody's sleeping. You and maybe like 2 others, and you see a fucking ship roll out of the fog bank, roll out of a cloud bank, whatever. Dead fucking, because it's generally was seen during mornings and nights, right? Early morning and dusk, correct?
Yeah. Or I guess in any storm.
Early morning, the light is just coming over. It's foggy. It's cold. The sea is completely still before a storm. You seen this motherfucker roll out, and you go, dude, this is eerie. It's not making a fucking sound. You're not even hearing the fucking ocean break against his bow. It's just dead quiet. And then you go into a storm. Yeah, you're thinking that motherfucker just cursed you. It's the only fucking thing you've seen for fucking weeks. That one ship roll past right before a storm and the dead calm before a storm. Imagine that. I'd freak the fuck out if I went into a storm after that. I'd be like, that was the devil's ship. They fucking cursed us. You know? Yeah. When you're out in the ocean like that, you're going to believe in superstitions because what the fuck else you got to do?
Yeah, you don't have anything else out there.
But it's like, just put yourself in that position. I don't know if you've ever been out, like even on a fucking lake when there's no wind, it's just completely fucking still, and someone comes up on you with like a rowboat or a trolley motor and you don't see them or don't hear them until they're like almost on you. Say they come from behind, they only have their fucking light on that you know?
And all you hear is their little coda on the back of their little motorboat, and there's
a trolley motors you don't fucking hear. Electric trolley motors, you don't hear those. So it's like, just imagine that, just no wind, just kind of just going with the current of the ocean or some shit like that. You're not hearing anything splash against their bow. It freaked me out. When you're out in the middle of the water and you can't hear anything and everything is still in calm, one is super peaceful, but it's also eerie as fuck. It's like being in the middle of a fucking graveyard in the middle of the night, which I've been. It's eerie as fuck. You don't hear anything and it's just cold. I want you guys to put yourself in the position that I described.
Wes, I got some sightings for you.
And if you were in that position that I described, that eerie before storm position, would you believe in the Flying Dutchman if you flew into a storm afterwards?
I'm just saying, if I'm in any ship and I'm on the ocean, I go into any storm, that's immediately what I'm going to blame is the Flying Dutchman. No matter what, seeing a ship or not, that's all I'm going to do.
I'm saying in the exact circumstances that I described.
But yeah, I probably would.
I think, well, yeah, if I see it, then I believe it. But I think the Flying Dutchman's an odd thing in the sense that if we do say we believe in ghosts, why do we believe in ghost ships? Why are there inanimate objects of after images of things? Maybe it might, because generally people associate ghosts with spirits or energy or souls or something like that. What gives a ship a soul? Why do we see it afterwards? If it's an after image of anything, that would say, I don't know.
White fucking.
Frankly, I don't give a shit.
White vision. What is that paradox called?
Oh, it's called the
white noise.
It's called the It's fuck, dude. It's called the whatever
paradox. It's
a ship.
It's a ship, but as long as it has one piece of wood, does it contain the soul?
Yeah.
Of the original ship.
What?
If it's actually
of the tree.
No,
How come we don't see floating trees? How come we don't see a tree? Because I'm pretty sure
I think I know what you're.
Ship.
I think I know what you're talking about, Wesley. It's like say you had a ship and you replaced you over the years you replaced every single part. Is it still the same ship?
The Theseus paradox.
Paradox.
Is that what you're talking about?
Every time I've heard it, they've described it with a broom handle. Your broom handle breaks. They described it with a broom. Your broom handle breaks. You replace the broom handle, but you still have the sweeper. But later on, the sweeper fucking wears out. You replace the sweeper. Is it still the same broom? No, it's not.
Yeah, it's the Theseus paradox. You're gonna sit there and reassemble something. You're going to reassemble it, but is it really still the same thing if you've replaced every part of it?
Oh, no.
The only thing I can think of,
I would say no.
You can almost make the same theory with human beings because our cells are constantly being fucking replaced. Are we really the same people we are when we were fucking younger?
I have a famous
You're not
quote.
the same person when you wake up in the morning, you know.
Okay, so here, let me I got three for Wesley. These are more recent ones just for you, Wesley. Well, one of them's in the 1800s still. So in 1835, a British vessel came close to be in a collision with the so-called Flying Dutchman. The other ship was approaching under full sail, but then vanished suddenly.
So the Flying Dutchman disappeared, or
the Flying Dutchman was coming at the other ship full mass, fucking everything.
That has been been reported in multiple things with in sightings of the Flying Dutchman. That's how they generally think that that's why they generally think it is the Flying Dutchman. Is they get before a storm or getting out of a storm, they see a ship full fucking sail coming at them, and it just fucking disappears. Like it's gonna ram them. Full tilt.
Yeah, the motherfucker's going in, not even spitting on it. He's just about to fucking bust it in.
So you're asking me why that would happen? Is that what you're asking, Casey?
No, that was
just a report. That was a sighting.
You guys ready for this one in 1939, Wesley?
Oh, we're 20th century. Here we go. All right. I love Fox.
In 1939, a group of people near Table Bay in Cape Town on the southern coast of Africa reported seeing a haunted vessel sailing towards the shore, full sail, before disappearing before hitting shore.
Again, like full fucking tilt just towards the shore.
Right.
Here's the thing that they didn't see. They were like, holy shit, you guys see this? And it had hit a rock and sank. And then they look back and go, it's gone.
Can I get an estimated length of the this? Because you guys I don't know the difference between an old schooner and a regular schooner or a battleship schooner when I play the board game. So you kind of need a reference point of
just big enough to make you choke.
So 20 people on board.
No. Well, I mean, one thing said it was a man of war, which could fit up to I think about 200 people. A man of war is massive.
Damn, that's like one of those white coat. That's one of those white-haired motherfuckers.
Like a man of war is generally, I think,
part of the crew, part of the ship.
I think 5 levels, up to 5 levels with the man of war. 5 fucking levels of ship. And 4 levels of fucking cannons plus the top is what it would be. That would be a man of war. And one of the things described a man of war. So that's, say each level is big enough for someone to stand up tall. That's at least 7 foot.
7 foot.
Yeah. So let's just go round down to 6. People were short back in the day.
Yeah.
Let's round down to 6. So 6 foot times 4, that's 24 feet plus the top level on top of that. So that's 24 feet of ship. From
up to down,
and then you have the amount of ship that was under the water, which let's throw on an extra fucking 10.
That's what I'm saying. So it's 35 feet tall.
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah,
but 25 feet cabin quarters.
Yeah,
10 feet of buoyancy probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And then you have the captain's quarters that probably go. That's another 6 or 7 foot above that.
Yeah.
On the top deck. So that's a fucking almost 50-foot tall ship.
I know, that's fucking insane to me.
Yeah, it's no, these are massive ships.
You tell me these people just fucking put tar in the middle of those it just coated it and
I mean, this is a man of war. This is a man of war. A man of war was both a battleship and a cargo ship. It was massive. It was generally used
sexy because they're really buff.
But like, if it was a the Dutch Fjord, I think it's called. I think that's what was the name of it. Then it looked like a schooner. It looked like it was 2 or 3 layers and just a very long ship, very large sails. So if that's the case, it's like a 30-foot tall ship, 20-foot tall ship. But it was long. It did hold a lot of cargo. It had a lot of cargo space. So it is a big ship, no matter what.
Don't smell the blankets, but it was like, very
like. Hold on, there was a picture. Let me look up.
You got a picture? Oh, is he going to throw it in the group?
Of a Dutch Fjord? Yeah.
While Mike looks up that picture, I'm going to tell you guys about the more recent sighting. I don't have an exact year.
Well, that was 1930. Is what you said?
1939.
Yeah.
So this next one was between 1939. In between the years 1939 to 1945. I'm not.
Sorry.
What did you say?
Wait, what is it?
It was a Dutch Flyt.
Flyt.
Flyt. So it is a very large ship. It's a three mast ship, and it is. I need to get a better fucking picture.
So this one was reported.
I'm gonna send it to the chat, and Joseph can show you.
Yeah, he'll show me. Okay, so 1939, Casey.
1945 during World War II.
So 6 years difference from the last sighting,
or somewhere close to. But so the according to reports, German submarine boat under the command of Nazi Admiral Karl Dunzit sighted the Flying Dutchman. Yeah, that's probably how it is. Sighted the Flying Dutchman during their voyage through the East Suez. That was it.
Shit.
But I thought Wesley might like some 1939 stuff. World War II was the most recent one that I read about.
Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking. I can't talk about it, but
it's a blurry picture. But that is a Dutch.
That's a Dutch oven. That's what my girlfriend sees when she pulls up the blanket.
It's a blurry picture, but like that is the kind of ship it was.
It's sailing your way,
right? God damn, you got schooned.
So that's supposed to be the Flying Dutchman like ship.
Well, yeah, it looks like an elongated schooner, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It doesn't seem that deep, like 50 feet deep in the water, or 35.
Yeah, it's a very long ship, though. It's very long. It's a 3-mast ship, and the masts look like they're probably 50 feet apart. So it's like that ship is probably 200 feet long, you know?
So why didn't the Mortal Kombat ships kill anybody?
Because the dragons on the front didn't do anything.
Yeah, they actually did not spit fire.
They were worthless.
If Dylon was on that ship.
They didn't.
But the masks on Chinese ships, like, those look fire, but apparently they caught fire.
but yeah, so no matter what, this is a very large ship, and
right.
I feel with how how long it is might fuck it up in the waves. I don't know, but I feel like with how big it is, it should be able to survive a storm, which is why I think that coming out, you'd possibly see this thing coming out of a storm. You know, somewhat broken up, looking ghostly as you're going into one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was my theory on the rational. What?
I found a better picture.
Go ahead and send it. I just went to the first one I saw.
Well, Leslie, what are your thoughts
on the Flying Dutchman? Well, mine is that, like, okay, so I know about the Philippine one. You guys haven't talked about that yet. That's probably for a future one, maybe a very short.
That's called the Flying Pacquiao.
In World War II, there was a ghost vessel that sent out an SOS. I don't know if you guys talked about this yet or not.
No, we haven't.
Oh, you guys haven't talked about that one yet? Okay. Then I can't really delve into that. Then
I mean, we probably.
But there's a ghost ship in the Philippines. There's a ghost ship in the Bermuda Triangle and all this stuff. But what I know about this one is that there. I don't know if it correlates to this one, but it is like there was this ship that kept coming back to Ireland, and they thought it was a ghost ship. They thought it was maybe this ship, the Dutch oven. The Dutch, the Dutch.
Where was that story where a fucking large ship washed up on the shore and there was no one on it?
Yeah, no,
the ship was completely empty.
No, but it had mutated rats. These rats like became like flying squirrels, but for water. Like they fucking mutated on this boat. Like that's what the theory is. So that's another whack ass conspiracy. But this cruise liner kept coming on to London fucking England and Ireland and Scotland. It kept coming back, and people were like, "Oh, this is a ghost ship," and they finally figured out in 2009 that like, "Oh no, this is the ship that was missing 15 years ago." It just kept going back out to sea. And then
I found it. The Ireland thing. I found it.
You found it? Yeah.
Yes. So, ghost ship washes ashore in Ireland without crew. So this was a cargo ship or a fishing ship. It looks kind of like a cargo ship. Very large ship. And the ship apparently was. I'm skimming, so this might jump around a little bit. Yeah. Sorry. The ship experienced issues in late 2018. And it was disabled and able to push on, and the ship was abandoned and its crew rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard, apparently. But, so sometime in 2018, they just, like, the ship washed up with no one on it.
Yeah.
Which is, like, apparently they found the crew, though, but, like, fucking A. If this is if the Dutchman is a supernatural ship, why wouldn't it be able to shut shit down? I don't know.
So that's what I was saying is that like they say they're blaming that on the ship that keeps coming into what do you call that?
Yeah.
Scandinavia.
Here's the interesting about this ship that washed ashore in Ireland. It's thought to have drifted from Africa to Ireland.
No, that's what they were saying.
It came from Africa. It came from where the fucking Dutchman.
No, they abandoned it in Africa, and it just kept making its way to England and Ireland and fucking like all those places.
So it's like this ship was abandoned in Africa, which is where the Dutchman was popular. Who's to say that this wasn't something the Dutchman did?
Well, more recently, yes.
Yeah, 2018. That's pretty fucking recent.
Yeah, but like there's this, and then one of them they caught up with and had this own species of rats that just inbreded for like 10 years. You're fucking kidding me. That's a conspiracy itself. God damn it.
Yeah. Which means if it has its own species, it must have been drifting for generations, and these rats were just inbreeding, like you said, over and over and over again. So this ship could have been drifting.
Squirrels, they had swimming squirrels.
This ship could have been drifting for years or generations because it had evolution on the ship.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense for it to be
that quick.
What is it? To sustain itself for so long. That doesn't make any sense.
Fucking rats can eat fiber.
Rats can just eat off each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
they just created their own little pirate ship with their little swords and shit.
You ever see Ratatouille? That motherfucker wore a hat. Why can't the other rats wear a pirate hat?
Right.
Son, why are you walking on 2 feet?
Right.
The only problem that this ship had was there was no naive gingers to take control of.
Oh, true. They are naive.
That's why they were drifting for so long. They didn't have a naive ginger to take control of and steer the ship.
Correct.
Stupid rats. They could have steered it themselves, dumbasses. They don't need a naive ginger.
Stupid rats gonna get a hold of a stupid redhead to fucking help them.
But anyway, so that's my there's a couple theories, but I don't have them timestamped, so I can't catalog.
Well, you brought up an interesting thing that I kind of want to get into now because yes, there haven't been a lot of Dutchman sightings of late, but there's been a lot of ships that have just washed up with
like the military one in near the Philippines. They said in the 40s They had a ship. They sent it out, and they were getting SOS telegrams. I think it's called the TAP one.
Yeah.
Is that telegram?
It's called Tap to Pay.
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Yeah. And the last thing they said, no.
Well, Morse code is what telegrams use. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah. Let me get my shit out. What was I saying? Mike?
We were talking about ships washing up.
Oh, ships washing up. Yeah. So they had and they figured out it was a cargo fucking ship from fucking Africa that just kept coming in and just pushing out, and everybody in Ireland thought it was like, oh, that's the ghost ship or like, I mean, something.
The fact that it comes from Africa is pretty, like, dude, that's where the Dutchman sank.
So yeah, that is coincidental, I guess.
It is coincidental. But something that I kind of want to bring up, because you made me think of it with ships washing up or just shit happening. I don't know when the Bermuda Triangle got big, but what if the Dutchman just resides there now?
True.
And that's why shit goes missing. I mean, there's reports of the Dutchman possibly flying, and there's fucking planes that go down.
It is the pronoun of his name, or what is it? Flying. What is that called?
That's an adjective. It just
adjective.
Is it? No.
Yeah. A pro adjective.
Well, technically, it's a verb if he's actually flying. It's just a verb. If it describes how he moves as being fast, it would be an adjective because it describes how he is
as well. Because
that's why
there's no name, but he's an adjective.
What would you say to that, Casey? If at some point,
I would say for now because it's a Flying Dutchman, so it's a name.
He's flying.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's capitalized.
What I'm talking about is like, I don't know when the Bermuda Triangle stuff got big, but what if the Bermuda Triangle stuff got big when the fucking Dutchman stuff was fading out, and that's just where the Dutchman resides now?
Casey,
he's like, I'm done with your waters. I'm gonna go chill in some warmer.
Well, I mean, at some point, a lot of the piracy switched to that area for a while, being around Bermuda and Jamaica and shit.
They did make rum.
Yeah. What if that and then the Dutchman just stayed there because there's still a bunch of trade there.
Why is the rum always gone?
That area was the height of trade for quite a while.
For sure. Flying rum man.
It makes sense because the Dutchman wouldn't just stay in dead waters. He'd want to find people if that's what he was doing. If that was his end goal, to kill people.
If the scallywags on his ship do have a certain number of years that they have to serve before they're done, then he would always need new people for the ship. So he'd want to go to shipping lanes. You know what I mean? And that's a popular shipping area. I mean, that's not too far from the Strait of Gibraltar.
What if the legend of the Dutchman is wrong? What if the Dutchman is actually a rescue ship and he goes and saves lost sailors and souls that are crashed, right? And then the only way that he can save you, he has to tell you, he's like, I could save your life, but you're gonna be bound to this ship until I can figure out.
I mean, yeah, you got something there, but
you gotta do some sexual favor.
The Gulf is it's near the Panama Canal, and Bermuda Triangle is in the Gulf. Yes. So why wouldn't one of the major shipping lanes, being the Panama Canal, the biggest shipping lane in the world,
oh no, I remember the one that got clogged.
Being slightly haunted by the Flying Dutchman, who resides in the Bermuda Triangle and probably ventures outside of it the most. But like all the things that go missing in the Bermuda Triangle, why can't it be the Flying Dutchman? It's a myth on its own. Why can't it just be this myth too?
True. Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about just ships going down, crazy storms, there's hurricanes every fucking year that are hitting the fucking panhandle. Every fucking year in America. We see fucking the entire Gulf being ravaged by hurricanes every year.
Every other year. Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, but like every year there's one storm that comes through and fucks shit up. There's at least one every year. And yes, some years are not as bad as others, but if this is an area that just breeds these fucking hurricanes, and the Bermuda Triangle's also in the Gulf with all these fucking islands and shit, why wouldn't the Dutchman be there?
True. If they were dead or alive, what do you?
I'm saying with all the stuff that goes missing and all the storms that happened in the Gulf, it seems like if the Dutchman was going to be in a place, that'd be the place it'd be.
Right. Exactly. The most hectic.
Yeah. I'm just like. Say that the Dutchman follows shipping lanes. So the biggest shipping lanes back in the day would be along Africa, going along the Silk Road.
Yeah.
Coming from like New Zealand and shit, going across the south of Africa and going up to the Mediterranean and England and all that stuff. That is the main shipping lane. And he was going across the main shipping lane, going across the Silk Road, a silk trading point, going around the bottom of Africa where he sank. So why wouldn't the Dutchman just go to a more popular shipping lane as that one fades out?
Yeah, that would make sense to me, Mike. For the
like, if you look, there's a picture of the supposed travel of the Flying Dutchman where he and it goes from South Asia or down around the Cape of Africa and then back up. But the Dutchman supposedly sank, around South Africa in the Cape. And that was one of the most popular trading routes at the time for spices and silk and just everything from East Asia, from Southern Asia and East Asia, because they didn't know about the West yet. So that was the way it went. But as soon as the West is discovered and they're starting to harvest the sugarcane and all this shit in Southern America, Southern United States of America, being North America, just the Gulf area, they're starting to harvest all this shit, and the new trade route is happening, and the Panama Canal gets built, and so the Gulf becomes this major trading hub. As America grows, why wouldn't the new trade route be haunted by the Dutchman? Because it's the thing that is used now.
What are your thoughts on the
hard time thinking here.
The Flying Dutchman. Sorry, I don't know why I spaced the fucking name.
I believe in it.
I was talking to Joseph because I don't think we heard from him yet.
Senor Joseph?
I'm so fucking tired. I can't even fucking. My final thoughts are like, is the Flying Dutchman also voiced by SpongeBob and SpongeBob?
Are you talking about Tom Kenny? I don't know. It seems like it's Clancy Brown. The voice of Mr. Krabs would more likely be the Dutchman.
I guess. I can see both. I can see both.
So, as far as the Flying Dutchman goes, I can completely believe in this. Just because I believe in ghosts. I know I said that earlier, but when I got into the Bermuda Triangle things, I think that myths evolve over time and could possibly be obscured by other myths. And so that's why I was thinking the Bermuda Triangle, and that's kind of my angle on it, is if it does exist and it has continued to exist, it's more obscured now. Pretty much whoever sees the Dutchman doesn't really make it out of it, which makes me think why it could possibly be in the Bermuda Triangle, because when stuff goes missing there, it just goes missing. It's done. It's gone.
Yeah.
But I have my own theories on the Bermuda Triangle. I was just thinking this could be a possibility. So that's my thoughts on the Dutchman. It's just it's an interesting concept as far as ghost ships go. And stories, because it
was World War II. There was this ghost ship off the coast of the Philippines or Laos or Thailand, somewhere around there, some strait. I don't know what strait means, but 1940s, and then they
a strait is like a thin parcel of land, kind of like a peninsula, but it's generally between two islands, kind of. That's a strait.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then this boat in the 1940s had a communication from Philippines, picked it up, and America. It was, I think, whatever vessel it was. Two people picked it up, America and Philippines. I don't know if it was American vessel, but it said like, "I'm cold, dying," was the last telegraph. That's what I was trying to get at earlier. And
that's terrifying.
Yeah, and they so this could be a full episode, probably not, but it is a conspiracy because nobody knows what the fuck happened. This boat showed up in the Philippines or Thailand or Laos, wherever. It showed up and it was giving signals off that like the last person in the telegram said like dying ... And then
I think I've heard of that actually.
Yeah, and they got on the ship and everybody was dead. This whole fucking like half cargo ship back in the day in the 40s.
Yeah. So what if the original captain of the Dutchman did get his curse broken? And he was actually a nice guy. He was a warning, being like a kind of exactly what I just said, a warning. I was trying to explain it better, but just a warning, be like, hey bro, turn around. I'm trying to save your life. This guy, he wasn't a bad guy. He was just looking for his lovely lady. Yeah. And then the new Dutchman comes across and he's a former pirate that fucking died a possible horrific death. And he's just like, I'm about to take some motherfuckers out.
Right. So in the 40s, this ship, 41, I want to say, or somewhere around there, goes through this strait or whatever in the Philippines, Thailand, that region.
Yeah, the Pacific Islands.
Yeah, Pacific Islanders. Yeah. They go through there, and then these ships contact them back after he said, like, cold and dying. And they find the ship, and it's like a pretty big ship, and they get on board, and everybody is...
It's cold and dying.
Huh?
I said everyone is cold and dying.
Well, no, they were like the faces, the faces, like their face was shocked, and they were frozen. Like the temperature was only like 40 degrees, so it wasn't freezing.
So you think it's so with a lot of theories about ghosts, they tend to drop when they're in the vicinity. They tend to drop the temperature. You think that's what it was?
Oh no, this could have been this could tie into the Flying Dutchman. That's what I was saying, is that they still have no explanation for this, and I don't know if you guys want to make it a full episode or not, but
I'd have to look into it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's plenty on it. Like it's just not spoken about much, but it happened in between World War II, I guess. I don't know, somewhere around there. America or somebody was hitting them up, and even the fucking like, stop, don't come any closer or whatever. And they're contacting the ship, and the ship just fucking shows up, and they hop on board, and everybody's frozen on their backs, face up, with a shocked look on their face. And the last person is next to the telegram, and you could tell that that's what they say, is that you could tell that he fell, and they don't know what happened to this fucking ship, because the last thing he said was cold, dead. That was the last telegram. It was just like, did they run into like a certain type of fog or something, but who knows? The Flying Dutchman? Who knows? But it's fascinating. Yeah, you guys should look it up. I don't know if it's worth a whole pod, but it is fucking interesting as fuck, because they have
send a link over and I'll check it out.
Yeah, they have they have the like evidence of the telegrams and shit. So it's like, fucking shit's crazy. It's like, maybe
they don't always say that the captain of the Dutchman's evil or out to kill people. They say he collects people, but just for company, not for any malice reasons.
He collects them. Well, if you believe some theories, he collects them to send messages.
Yeah.
To go on land for him. I mean, if you can't go on land, you gotta bring in some people. Be like, hey, here's my grocery list.
Here's a fucking chest of gold.
Yeah, don't forget to pick up some beer.
Show me the real one.
Show me the real one.
So, I don't know if we've gotten your opinion yet, Casey. Have we?
Yeah, I'm all for the Flying Dutchman. I feel like there's too many accounts, way widespread for it to be just coincidence. Because writing was way more. It wasn't as available as it is now. Like information wasn't just out there. You'd had to be educated, and you'd have to have access to the writings of whatever it was, and it's not like they were mass produced either back then.
Yeah, and I feel like whenever you're reading anything that's been mythologized, it comes from an aspect of truth, at least a little bit. It could have come from one fucking story of someone seeing a fucked up shit coming out of a storm, and that's what it could have come from. But there is some truth behind every myth.
Right.
But I do believe that like the Dutchman is real. Like it's but I believe in spirits, yo, so
true. I'm glad because I fucked out. It's just opposing opinions, so it's a good, like, but maybe I don't know, because man, these motherfuckers show up with mutated rats. Like, you tell me you evolved in 2 years. You evolved in 2 years on the sea to become a flying rat or a swimming rat. Like,
that's where the cockamouse came from in How I Met Your Mother.
Yep.
The cockamouse. Yeah.
Anyways, I think we covered this sufficiently. What do you think, Casey?
I think that's what we got on the Flying Dutchman.
Without going into other conspiracies, because you got missing ships, and that could go into other conspiracies. And
just like over. Flat Earth, there's tons of other conspiracies that can go into this.
Yeah, a flat Earth spills over because the waterfalls, right?
I've been one of your hosts today, along with many others. My name is Mike.
I'm Casey.
I'm Wesley.
I'm Jolly Rogers Joe.